You know, in a kid's show, in a family show, when you get the episode that has the obvious moral lesson and it's heavy-handed and cringe, well, this is not that, brother. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we're going to take a fully spoilery look at Skeleton Crew Season 1, Episode 6, the one with the important moral lesson on friendship. As usual, there'll be a short spoiler-free section, and then we'll be getting onto the spoilers. So, again, this show is just so well written. Now, it is a children's show. It does simplify things. It does carefully edit out the violence to squeeze in that PG rating, but it is very well written. There was a certain element about the main characters that's been bugging me since day one, but I kind of set it aside. And now it comes back to play a major role in this episode. And it plays a major role into a lesson on friendship and how to be a good friend and how misunderstandings can happen between friends just because of temperamental differences. No one's trying to be mean, no one's trying to be cruel, and how it's important to speak up. As usual, there's nothing groundbreaking about this lesson. I saw the exact same lesson in a Cosby episode. Goodness, when would that have been? 20, 30 years ago? There was an identical lesson in an Arthur the Aardvark show, but neither of those were as well done as this, and one was an adult family sitcom. And again, the main things just comes down to the basic elemental writing, scene and sequence, cause and effect. If you introduce a gun in the first act, it should go off by the third act. Meanwhile, we keep getting more depth to Jod. We keep seeing more of his vices and more of his virtues. And there's a scene near the end of the episode where it is a classic children's show scene where you have the child protagonist do something that should be entirely out of their capacity as children. And yes, it probably still is. But the writers in the show made a clear effort to prepare for this episodes ago by writing the children learning the skills from Jod that they each needed to perform this scene. It goes from completely ludicrous to, okay, there's a possible chance this could actually work. And again, every single thing that happens in this episode was set up 1, 2, 3 episodes before. This is just a very well-written show. But that's it for the spoiler-free section. I want to get on to the spoiler section. If you don't want any spoilers for Skeleton Crew Episode 6, then you can click away now. I'm going to give you this time to check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of my book, Humans Are Weird. I have the data. What will our little green friends think of us when the glamour of first contact wears off? Short, absurd science fiction stories to keep you entertained. Now, spoilers, you have been warned. All right, the moral lesson. This is the episode that has the clearest moral friendship lesson, the Care Bears lesson, front and center. And it's this. When someone has a disability, you need to make accommodations for them. But in order for you to make the accommodations, they have to communicate what that disability is. And this is a very, very important lesson and a very well-written lesson. Friendships have to go both ways. The communication has to flow both ways. Yes, the bullheaded, headstrong Fern has to stop and listen and ask what her friends need, but her friends actually have to express what their needs are. Now, Neil, being an eldest child, used to living and dealing with small children who don't communicate all that well, presumably, is used to this. And Neil is able to literally haul Fern up and say, Fern, I got stubby little legs. I can't keep up with you. And Fern can solve the problem. However, in Fern's reactions with KB's quiet, KB's subtle, KB's Fern's best friend, and KB's just always there, always supporting her, never complaining. And that causes problems because KB is so scared that if she makes any problems for Fern, she'll lose her friendship. She fails to let Fern know what's going on. What was going on? Well, this is the brilliant Chekhov's gun that's been going through the series. KB's augmentations. With a name like KB, with a health tracker, with a life tracker her parents have on her, and with seriously integrated mods that alter her behavior. Again, we really don't know if KB actually sleeps. As Jod pointed out, I was getting very suspicious of the culture on At-Atan, because what kind of parents turn their kid into a cyborg? Because we saw Wim's dad pushing him, and Neil's just blissful acceptance that he's going to be an analyst like his parents, and Fern's mom frantically pushing her, I'd kind of assumed that KB's family had just gone into her brain as a kid and forced these mods on her to give her the best chance of a position. One of those, yeah, it's kind of dark, but on this planet you have to be able to compete kind of things. But I was completely wrong. Turns out KB had some sort of tragic accident as a child, and they had to carve out the base of her brain to give her mobility back. So KB is essentially in the Star Wars Galaxy's version of a wheelchair. She has a mobility aid that allows her to move, to walk, looks like to breathe even a bit, which explains why her parents have a long-distance health monitor on her when the other kids don't, which explains why she has all those augmentations. She needs them to survive. It's pretty close to home if you know somebody, or if you have a loved one, or if you have an insulin pump or any of the other attached peripheral devices that we do have now. So that makes At-Atan seem a lot less sketchy, post-apocalyptic, Brave New World sci-fi-ish, but there's still a lot of mystery at At-Atan. Is it an Old Republic mint? And important question here, is the show going to address how finding a literal mint may not actually be that valuable in the long term? Because what makes Old Republic credits valuable is that there's so few of them. Value for something that if it's not something that can be eaten, if it's not something like fuel that you use on a daily basis, value is determined by rarity. Those mint condition Old Republic credits that have been buying their way across the universe so far, if there's a way to make an infinite number of them, if At-Atan is actually a mint, that's going to be a very short-term windfall for whoever gets there, even if they can take the credits from At-Atan. Once the market is flooded with them, their value of each individual Old Republic credit goes down. This is super basic economics. There's stories of African kings who would flood neighboring nations with gold deliberately to depress the economy. But I don't know if the writers of this show are economically educated enough to understand that fully or integrate it into the story. We'll see. Finding At-Atan and releasing all those credits into the New Republic, well, first off, the New Republic's going to have something to say about that. Second off, even if the pirates get in, get the credits, get out, their value is only going to last for a short while. Then you have the scene at the end where the trash recycler grabs a hold of the ship, starts to crunch it, and it's revealed that random comment from the previous episode where the dead previous pirate captain says he covered the ship in armor wasn't just talking out his nose. When the kids blast off the outer hull plate, there's another ship inside the original ship. And it's a much smaller ship, which raises the question, why did the original pirate think that he need that much armor going to At-Atan, which is a fairly defenseless world? What is it about the barrier that made the captain think he was going to need that much ablative armor to get through it? Then you have the scene where the kids escape with the ship. And yes, it is utterly absurd that 4 children of that age could learn to pilot a vehicle that complex in that short of time. But KB has her mods, and Jodge did in fact give them each a lesson in the post that they each manned, working together as a team. There's your lesson on teamwork to get the ship up and running. And I go back to that first opening scene where this show made it very clear what it was. It was a family show. It was a kids show. It was a show where pirates in an advanced technological civilization still storm their target ships the same way a 17th century pirate ship would during the golden age of piracy. Cutlasses between their teeth, pistols drawn, filing one by one over the boarding plank. This is that kind of show. A show that only remembers the laws of physics when it benefits it. A show that's here to make sure that the 9-year-old inside of you has fun. And within that context, it perfectly set up that Wim knows how to man the guns, Neil knows how to man the throttle, Fern knows how to steal, and KB can memorize things in human speed because of her mods. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Did the show writers in previous episodes justify the escape scene well enough so that you were able to enjoy it? Or did you just roll your eyes when 4 12-year-olds managed to lift off a complex, highly damaged spaceship from the clutches of the monster recycling machine? Leave a comment below telling me what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Step into a world of science and of story, of laughter and of tears. Betty Adams has crafted entire worlds of science fiction and science fantasy adventure in her Humans Are Weird series and in her Dying Embers series. Be prepared to laugh, cry, and become absorbed. Check out her books at the links below the video.